Have you ever wondered how some of the busiest people out there, like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, how they find time? I mean, an hour every single day just for learning?
Yeah, it seems impossible, right, when most of us are just trying to keep up with email.
Exactly. It feels like a paradox.
Well, that paradox is actually the heart of what Michael Simmons calls the 5-hour rule, and that's what we're diving into today.
Okay.
Basically, the idea that spending 1 hour a day or, 5 hours across the work week on intentional learning, that's probably the single best investment you can make, especially now.
Intentional learning, not just scrolling feeds.
Precisely. Deliberate growth. So we'll unpack its three main pillars and why it's so critical in today's knowledge economy.
All right, let's get into it. The structure. You mentioned 3 pillars.
Yeah, think of it as RRE. Read, reflect, experiment.
Okay, read. That one seems pretty familiar. It's the input, right? Like Buffett reading, 5 or 6 hours a day, or Gates and his famous Think Week.
Exactly. That's the classic input. Books, articles, courses, audiobooks, however you absorb new information best.
But just reading isn't enough, is it?
Not even close. That's where the second R comes in. Reflect. This is the step, honestly, most people skip.
Why is it so important?
Because learning without processing is just trivia collection. Reflection is where you pause, you think deeply, you connect the dots.
Connect dots how? Like journaling.
Journaling can be a tool, yeah. But it's more about analogy mapping. So
Yeah.
you read about, say, a strategy from history or maybe a shift in a totally different industry.
Right.
And you actively try to draw parallels. How does that Roman Empire tactic relate to my current project? Or that manufacturing change to my team's workflow? You have to make those connections yourself.
Right. Building that intellectual bridge. Otherwise, it just stays theoretical, which I guess leads us to the third pillar.
You got it. Experiment. This is where theory meets practice. Reading and reflecting are great, but the real value, it comes when you actually do something with it.
So trying things out, like a new technique you read about.
Exactly. Test that new sales script. Maybe build a small prototype. Think Mark Zuckerberg and those early Facebook hackathons. Or just try a slightly different approach with a client. Small-scale tests.
But what if the experiment fails? Isn't that just wasted time? I could see people worrying about that.
It's a really common concern. But it's about reframing failure. The goal isn't necessarily immediate success. The goal is a fast feedback loop. Did you learn something quickly? Did it clarify whether the theory holds up in your world? If the experiment gives you data, even failure data, it wasn't a waste, you learned cheaply.
Okay, that makes sense. Keep the stakes low. Learn fast.
Right. And this whole cycle, read, reflect, experiment, it's becoming, well, absolutely essential. Because the nature of value is shifting.
How so?
You're deep in the knowledge economy now. What you know and what you can do with what you know, your intellectual capital, that's becoming way more powerful than just financial capital.
And technology is accelerating that shift like crazy.
Unfathomably fast. If you're not constantly learning, you genuinely risk becoming obsolete. Standing still means falling behind. The person not learning is, frankly, the new at-risk employee when you think about automation.
Wow, so it's not just about getting ahead, it's almost about survival.
In a professional sense, yes. It's pretty critical.
Charlie Munger had that quote, didn't he? Something about wise people always reading.
Yeah, it's a powerful one. In my whole life, I have known no wise people who didn't read all the time. None. Zero. It underlines that conviction. It's non-negotiable for wisdom.
And there's actual brain science behind why this focused learning works so well, right?
Definitely. It ties into deliberate practice, the work of K. Anders Ericsson. That intense, focused concentration, it literally helps build and strengthen neural pathways.
Like paving a road in your brain.
That's a great analogy. It isolates the circuits you need for a skill, triggers myelination, which speeds everything up. Focus builds the infrastructure for mastery. Takes effort, but makes future use faster.
So, okay, we know why it's important. How do people actually do this consistently? Life gets in the way.
It does. Willpower alone isn't enough. That's why routines are key. You need systems to minimize that decision fatigue, that willpower depletion we all feel.
Like time blocking, scheduling it in.
Absolutely. Time blocking is huge. You literally schedule everything, including specific blocks for this deep, intentional learning. Treat it like an important meeting.
Protect that time.
Protect it fiercely. And bookend your day. A shutdown ritual is really effective. Spend 15-30 minutes reviewing, planning for tomorrow. It tells your brain, okay, work is done for today. Helps you mentally switch off.
That makes sense. Prevents that constant background hum of work stress.
Exactly. But there's one more strategy, and it's a bit counterintuitive.
Oh, what's that?
You need to learn to embrace boredom.
Embrace boredom. In this day and age, that sounds difficult.
It is difficult. We're wired now to flee boredom instantly. Check the phone in line, zone out the second things get quiet. We all are, to some extent. But here's the problem. Doing that constantly, it rewires your brain for distraction. It weakens the